welcome back to the channel. It's been a little bit since our first video we posted, maybe a little over a month ago. Got the challenge ready, did Mo Party. Might get a quick video together on that, but more importantly, we got the next customer build in the shop. This 1979 Z28 Camaro is going to be transformed here. Ton of work. We're thinking of doing a little build series on it, going into more detail of the finer things we're going to get into on this, and we'll go over that a little bit, what this long list is. Very excited about this. If you guys want to see more, leave a like, subscribe, drop a comment below what you would like more of, and we'll see what we can do. Now, before I tear this thing apart even more, let's go over what this car should look like and drive like by the time spring hits. Now, obviously, we already got the old 350 and the turbo 350 pulled. Transmission's getting rebuilt currently. The engine? Well, I don't care about the old engine. We got a brand new, not brand new, new to customer, blueprint crate engine going in it. It is a 355. It's not here yet, but it'll be here soon. However, some of the main concerns, we're going to be taking this whole front of the car apart. We were originally just going to clean up the engine bay, put the new engine in, but we found some cancer. Got some rust in the core support, so we're taking it apart, put a new core support in. The inner wheel wells are also going to get replaced. You can see that thing is just crunchy and rusted out. Same with that side. So, long story short, in the next couple clips, we'll do a time lapse. We'll be taking off the front end, front fenders, inner fenders, cleaning up the firewall, because we will be replacing, this car will begin a new wiring harness. I'm glad I got the customer to get on board with getting rid of this fire hazard here. All these improper splices and connections, and one of the wires going all the way to the fuel pump following the frame rail back, which you should use a solid piece of wire, is probably 4 or 5 different wires spliced together, boom, 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 in sections. Not right, not right. We'll show you how to do a proper connection, how to wire a car properly. It might be hard to follow along because this is time consuming, and once I get focused, I don't want to talk. But new master cylinder, new booster. We'll be working with lead brakes on that. Eventually, we'll put a posi in the rear end. We'll do a disc brake conversion. We're going to fix some of the steering issues, maybe put a new box in, new upper control arms because the bushings are pretty shot. And while this thing is blowing apart, we're going to clean it up, repaint it, and do a bunch of other stuff. We got some goodies coming, but yeah, this car is beautiful. I love the paint on it. And those color matched wheels, outstanding. But let's get this front end blown apart. Give me some time. We'll get some parts ordered. And we'll get a good start on this job. solid start on the teardown on the front end of this Camaro. We're gonna pop the core support off here in a second, but we gotta remove those basically bumper brackets. Those can be a pain sometimes. Then we're gonna strip the firewall down. Here's a close-up of these inner wheel wells and just how rotted they were. Believe it or not, the driver's side was a good side. It's non-existent there, and that's where the battery tray mounts to, and then the battery, of course. So, got new ones of those. Got to figure out a good storage system to keep these safe, because the paint's pretty nice on this thing. And then, here you go. Here's why we're replacing the core support. Nice and rotted out. But I'm, thankful and excited that he wants to tear down this much. But before we do any more, it's time to bag and tag all the bolts. All right, these can be tricky. They're not that bad to take off, but I mean, this car has been on the road for how many years? So, things don't like to come apart. Basically, there's a spot in the frame. You can slip, a nice extension up, 3/4 drive, 3/8 drive, 3/4 size nut, and then impact on the top, and this core support will come out. And then there's the nut. So not too bad. Now these bushings are just shot. So yeah, we'll get a new core support. And what I mean is these guys right there. Good scrap metal, that's for sure. There you go. Front end is stripped down. Something worth noting, these bumper brackets, and it took me a second to figure it out. I'm glad I didn't try too hard. But you want to take the nuts off from the inside, because these are basically welded to the bracket, so those bolts will never spin unless you break it. Well, they're press fit is what they are, so they'll never, they're not welded, but you see there's basically a tapered fitting where it just punches in there and it'll never spin. So that's why it wouldn't come off for a second. But there you go. Simple as that. Just had to stop and think, That would be really getting in that frame. One. A little hard to get to because of the power steering, so we're going to grab a longer extension and zip this guy off. There you go. Next step to getting this firewall stripped down. We'll remove the master cylinder and booster in a second, but we're gonna get this HVAC box out of here. We're not doing AC on this car, so we're going to do a block off plate, but retain his heat. We'll get to that later on, but just a bunch of bolts all the way around. We just gotta get through removing all those. This thing's all busted up anyway, so we were going to replace it as is. I don't know. My suspicion is because this was at a couple shops and I wanted to ask or care where it was, but they cut the box right there to clear the headers. So yeah, I mean, that's not how we do things here, but he agreed he didn't care to have AC, so we're gonna do a block off plate and get that out of the way. This thing's all kinds of cracked and beat up, and But these aren't a lot of fun to remove. Sometimes they're stuck on pretty good. And whoever made these brake lines, which we'll replace anyways again. Not again, it's just basically spliced from right there. I don't like that. So we're gonna clean that up. Yeah, this thing's cracked up, man. I might as well get that out of my way. Yeah, this thing, and it's cracked in half essentially. And then that's where some dingus at another shop cut the sucker up to clear it for headers. And yeah, it's just all cracked up too. Yeah, those are cut marks. You can see that. Whatever. To the scrap pile it goes. All right, that will be a wrap for today. Basically day one on this thing of stripping it down besides pulling the engine and trans a couple weeks ago. I'm happy with the progress. I mean, this car is just blown apart right now. But tomorrow, might start removing some of the suspension, master cylinder, booster, wiper, motor. Maybe start stripping the interior so I can get the rest of this stuff pulled through. Like I said, I'm not using any of this wiring. It's all going. Possibly steering box replacement. For sure, the coupler, this thing is just shot. One thing I noticed, and we don't have a problem with that, I don't really touch bodywork, but if you don't see the paint, then I'll mess with it. Basically this side, inner rocker bottom, where the fender bolts to, we're gonna take care of that rust for the customer. Other side solid, but just another little detail. When I'm ready to start cleaning things up and cutting metal out, we'll get to that. Very pleased with how the firewall looks. Absolutely no rust, no rot. Floors have been replaced on this car, so basically, firewall forward, we're gonna restore. So let's get to it. Day 2 of tearing apart this Z28 Camaro. Yesterday we cut the front end apart. Not much left of it. We're gonna work on the interior today before I get nice and dirty. We're going to, later in the day, remove the braking system, the master cylinder, booster, some of the lines, double back with the customer before I remove the steering box and the upper control arms. Steering box has, the bottom seal's leaking pretty good. There's a lot of slop and play in it, so we're gonna put a quick ratio is what I'm going to try to sell on. Make this thing handle pretty nice. Interior, since we're doing a rewire, removing the dash, removing the gauges. We're doing Dakota Digital stuff, so it's gonna look good. We're gonna start with that. Hopefully don't have to remove the seats. Might have to, it is what it is. Won't do a lot of recording on the interior removal. I'm just gonna be, upside down, crammed into places, trying to remove stuff. So I'll maybe do a quick video of me pulling it out when it's all ready to go, but stay tuned. We're gonna get some good work done. Day 3 of the Z28 teardown. We got the front end stripped. Interior is apart. We're gonna remove the final things on the firewall, start tearing apart the front suspension and brake system. And that'll probably be a wrap for the weekend. And after that, we're gonna start grinding, sanding, and getting ready for paint. Not fun. These are like clips. And this car is how many years old? So
48, I think.
yeah, it's like I prefer to not have to buy a bunch of little plastic pieces for it.
Yeah.
See, we're already replacing so much on this car. Anything we can save
Mm-hmm.
will just be nice. And that thing's pretty dumb. Yeah, so all this shit is getting replaced. This is good. Make big mess. Yeah, look how nice that fluid looks. These guys, one thing I hate about how these Camaros and Firebirds and stuff have their master cylinder set up, and you can see it with the fluid, like this car's flat. They have them angled up, and that's just basically to get the ratio on the pedal, you know, correct. And I just, I don't like it because one, your fluid's never, you know, at an even level. And it just looks funky with it tilted up, and there's things you can do about correcting that, but then you have to worry about the angle on the pedal. And if that's not set up, you can go through master cylinders, because if the angle's funky, then how the piston moves or how the rod moves and stuff, if it's on an angle, you're gonna wear out like the sidewall, and then it's gonna leak. So there's a reason for it to be at this angle. It's just, you know, sometimes engineers can do things differently, but they're lazy, so. Yeah, we're just gonna undo these lines, and then we're gonna dump this thing in here, and it's all getting replaced. So all these lines are getting replaced. There's my mess I'm talking about. See, this is why teardown is nice. You just, doesn't matter a whole lot what you do. No, honestly, I'm gonna go right to my oil drain container over here. I should probably undo that from the pedal. Oops. Yeah, that's basically what I failed to do. Is there's a little cotter pin, and then that rod just pops off. I'm not sure where that washer goes, but that's all we had to do. It probably would have been smart to undo this while it's still attached, but you know.
Went all over the windshield too. Well, I guess not all over.
Did it?
There's a
wipe that off.
Couple splashes.
But the plan with the rust I found, and you'll see that in the other parts of the videos, was I wasn't planning on tearing it apart this much, and I didn't want that done at work, so yeah, this little section will get redone. But the master booster setup, I'll go with lead brakes. One of the companies on the wall over there. Go check them out. Great company to work with. But,
right next to the blueprint.
Yeah, which is what's going in this car. So it's always good to have, you know, backup from companies and be able to offer solutions on what we can do. But it'll basically be a booster master, and it'll come with a new proportioning valve. So that'll all get replaced and be nice and dandy. Another thing to consider is this, all this rusty stuff. I'm going to make all new brake lines, because, you know, why would you leave that previous repair in there? That just doesn't look to the level of quality I want out of this. So that's all going to go. So all these lines I could honestly just cut, but we'll see if they come apart nice. I have all my nice flare wrenches at work, so there's a good chance that it's not gonna come apart. But maybe. Yeah, it's just gonna strip it out. That's alright, because the condition of these flex hoses anyways tells me we should replace them anyways. Yeah, so I didn't even mess with that connection a whole lot, and that's just how rusty this stuff was. It just broke right off, so. Drip, 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 drip. Makes my life easy, because it's all getting replaced, so. Basically just. Keep that back. interesting thing we have just found. Not the end of the world, but we're putting jacks on the front frame to start taking apart the front suspension. And we gave it a little shakedown to be safe, you know, make sure it's not going anywhere. And I don't know if you can see the frame moving separate from the body. If you come here, and maybe you can shine the camera in there to get a good view of that bolt and bushing, body bushing from the frame. That bolt's not even attached, it's either broke or loose. So, now's a good time to do new bushings as well, so I'll have to point that out to the customer. Try to see if I can. Get that thing solid again so it won't spin. I don't think that'll be enough, but I can try. It's probably still gonna spin. Yeah, still spinning. What do I want to do? That's just no bueno. There's not a whole lot you can do. So yeah, that's all I can. Just pry it all the way off and try to capture the knot. There's ways of fixing someone else's mess up. Because those are all 4 of those tabs are supposed to be welded to the frame. Frame was loose. That's why this thing just was supposed to be captured. That's about where I want it. So we got to try to keep it from spinning so we can tighten it up. Maybe we can get some vice grips on it. See how it tightens up for now. Yeah, that thing's just not moving at all. It's probably cross-threaded. I wouldn't put it past it because it looks like a new bushing. And yeah, dude.
Smoked.
Fucked.
Absolutely smoked.
Yeah. Pit stop. Overkill extension. There you go. You don't want to ruin the threads on this, so yeah. There's no that fucker is heavy. Victory, first try. Nice. So it's so chewed up. Oh, there's a little pin. Dude, look at that. New bolts in its future.
Oh man. The rack is pretty stuck to that guy.
Yeah, that's what I figured was gonna happen. Go. I think I got her. Yeah. Come to Papa. And then this guy should just.
Success.
Yeah. You can actually buy this whole arm. It's like $300 though.
Jeez.
Versus, I mean, one, that's gonna be a pain to press off, and two, this joint up here is just
shot.
So we're dropping the rest of the steering assembly. All these parts are still good, so there's no reason to take them all apart individually. That side popped right out, probably because we're recording now, it's not going to, but typically you just hit on the knuckle like that, and that's all she needs. Cutting off day 3 here of teardown. We might still pop this stuff off, but we got braking, steering system apart, column, like the midway shaft with the rag joint, so kinds of play. Steering box off, like I said, inner outer tie rods, steering linkage, pitman arm. That's all off. Rest of the suspension and the knuckles coming off next, and then we'll see you in the next video.